Hi everyone, my name is Cheryl. Welcome to my Happy Handcraft Studio. Well, the title of this episode is Out with the Old and In with the New. I'm very happy to say I have finished a couple of projects and I've started a new cross stitch, the first since May of 2023. So I'm really excited that I'm on the path to new starts. I'll put it that way. So I know all across the country we have been experiencing terrible weather, and we had a dose of that in the foothills, the Rocky Mountains in Alberta, Canada. We had some of our coldest temperatures in over 20 years, or in about 20 years. So that was quite a shock because we had had the most wonderful fall where it didn't get cold at all. We were really spoiled. And so when it hit, the polar vortex came swooping through our country and we had extreme cold weather warnings throughout Alberta and Saskatchewan. And for people who have to go to work and people who need to leave the house, that is a real struggle. For people like me who get to stay home on cold days, it was wonderful. Different things that had been planned that I would have had to drive out for were either canceled or put onto Zoom. And so I got to stay in my sewing studio and visit with all my quilting friends and bag making friends and charity colleagues. It was great. So I did get a lot done. Stitching, quilting, bag making. I also did some crochet and some knitting. So I was home. It was cold, but I was very content with all the things that I could work on. So my stitching, I accomplished a lot. I'm really thrilled with just what I was able to do. So I'll show you my first finish, and that is this one here, and it's called Christmas Ball. Now this is a pattern available on Etsy, and it is from xcrossstitchpattermx. And this is on a 27 count black Linda. This was one of my 2022 12 starts for New Year's Eve, and I'm happy that it's finished. Now I did modify this one a bit. If you look at this picture, you can see it has sort of the top part of an ornament there. I decided not to put that on because I do plan on putting it into a hoop, and I didn't think I needed that extra little bit. I like the graphic design of this, and so I'll work on getting that one finished so that I have it ready for next winter. I like this one because it's not really, I mean, you can use it for Christmas, but it's appropriate for our winters as well. So that was my first finish. My next finish, again modified, and that was King Charles III Coronation Emblem. And the modification here is that I am not putting all the words around this. I think this will work in my studio really well, just as it is. So I'll probably put on the back that it is to commemorate King Charles III's coronation. But again, happy with another whip off the list. And again, something else to finish, but I think those will both be finished in hoops, and so they shouldn't take too much time. So my Wllmco goals were 1,200 stitches on 2 projects. The first project was Kingdom of Books. Whoops. This is Kingdom of Books. I purchased this pattern on Etsy. I'm not too sure, like I said before, just how legitimate it is, but you know, I'm hopeful. This is on a 32 count Belfast linen in mocha. And on this one, I got about 1,200 stitches. So my Wllmco goal is 1,200. So I think it was 1,203 for this. But I could see really good progress with that amount of stitches. My other Wllmco was Simplicity Vintage. And Simplicity Vintage is a dimensions kit. And this was a birthday start in 2023. It's on a 14 count white Aida. And I got quite a bit more stitching on this one because I did it for Wllmco at the beginning of the month, and then I also brought it out on my the day of my birthday, the date of my birthday, to add some more stitches. So this one got 1,700 stitches. So I'm happy with that progress as well. So then I wanted to work on another 2022 start that I figured would be sort of the closest to a finish soon. And so I brought this one out. This is also by xcrossstitchpattermx on Etsy. Again, that graphic style. This is on a 28 count Wllmco in white. And, you know, it's really close to a finish. I just have some branches and then the sweater at the bottom to do. So I'm really looking forward to that one being finished as well. So that one I put in just over 1,000 stitches. So when I pull out a project to work on now, I try to get 1,000 stitches because I'm working on the Semi-Sane Challenge. Every 1,000 stitches you get a new art piece for History of Art. So former art teachers love that. All right, so that was that one. And then the most recent one of the most recent ones I've worked on. I work on this on the 21st of each month, and this is Queen Elizabeth II in Her Coronation Dress. This is by Teresa Gil. It's on a 28 count Vintage Blue Cashel, and I was working down in this area. That's the part that I have, and so far I think I have about 200 stitches, so I'll keep working on this until I have 1,000 stitches put into it. And then I'll go on to my next project. So my first new start since May 6th, 2023, I started the 52 book reading tracker by Stitching Cabin. And I mentioned last time that I'm doing this instead of any kind of a temperature chart, I'm doing a reading tracker. And this will track the different books that I read throughout the year and the types, the genre of the book. And so I did this yesterday just to get the bookshelf in a bit so I could put the first 2 books that I've finished so far. First one was a historical book, and the second one is contemporary. And I'll talk about those 2 books a little bit later in this video. 2024 is off to a good start because both of these books I would give 5 stars to. They're very different books, but like different from each other, but still wonderful. All right, so my plan for the end of the month. I've decided that on the 25th, I'm going to do one of my Christmas pieces, and it'll probably be the deer. It'll probably be this one that I'll try to finish. So hopefully 1,000 stitches will do it, and if not, I might do a few more just to get this one done. And then after that, I'll use my tiny decision wheel if I still have a little bit more time, because all of my kind of goals for the month, my 2 whip goes, and then my piece that I do on the 6th, well, that's finished now. King Charles is done. The 20th for my birthday start, that's Simplicity Vintage. 21st is Queen Elizabeth II in her coronation dress, and the 25th is a Christmas piece. So that's, after that, I can just stitch whatever my heart desires, which is always a good thing. So continuing a little bit with stitching, I still have one pattern outstanding from my giveaway, and this is for Donna. And Donna, I think you must have just missed the episode where this was called, because I think I had a comment from you last video, and this is at Donna Ramsey 9122. So Donna, send me an email. My email is listed in the description box, and I'll get this out to you. And I have a little bit of stitching happy mail. So one of the pattern winners was Jenn, and Jenn has a YouTube channel called Jenn M. Bowman, and I'll list her in my description box as well. I was lucky to sit with her during the stitching retreat in Edmonton, and one thing about sitting at a table with, I think, 10 people, we got to know each other's likes and dislikes, and it became very apparent that I liked pink. And so if something was given to the people at the tables, if there was a pink one, they put it at my placemat, so that was great. Well, I got a card from Jenn, a thank you card, and, you know, of course, pink, and of course, pink, and then, of course, cerise, perfect. Do you think I like this color? I think so. Thanks, Jenn. That's wonderful. And when I went to check on Jenn's official channel name, I realized that I missed Jenn's December 30th episode. And so now I will be sure to go back. Somehow right at that end of the year, end of December, beginning of January, I guess we were all busy. But now I have that to go back and look at. And if you like variety in your FlossTube, Jenn is a great channel to go to, because she does stitching, crochet, quilting, wool applique. So always lots to see on Jenn's channel. Thanks, Jenn. All right, and now for my variety. Okay, so if you've been around for a while, you know I'm always making things for charity. So I'll show you the charity. They're probably all for charity, I guess. We were doing a sort of quilt fabric, and there was panels that had different things for coffee. So I've made sets. I think I'll put them into sets of 2 or 4 for the sale, and they all have this nice backing on it. So I have those all ready for the Wllmco Bags, Babies, and Beyond artisan sale that happens in the fall of each year. It's in October, I think. I won't say for sure. I think end of October, before Halloween. So the next thing that I've made for the sale is one of our ready set yarn bags, and we sell these patterns through the Wllmco baguettes on Etsy. And the pattern comes in 3 sizes. This is the medium size. And this is a good size for shawls, cowls. You can do like socks where you're doing 2 at a time. I didn't do it for this one, but there are instructions for putting a divider into the inside so that you can keep your balls of wool separate. It has a nice drawstring top to keep everything secure, and it has a handle that drops down to the side. I did this one in a mixture of a vinyl, just a beautiful buttery vinyl, and then this fabric. And I thought this tree pattern was so perfect because to me, those look like balls of yarn. So that one is ready to go. And then we work all year long on making things for the charity. And so we have what we call a sew day, and this happens monthly, and people sign up to come and they learn how to do different things, or they just come and work on projects of their own. And a few of us from the Baguettes, we led a workshop on making Emmeline's retreat bag. So this retreat bag is a free pattern available on Emmeline's website. Emmeline is a worldwide distributor of bag hardware, bag patterns, materials to make bags. And she's an Alberta business, so we love to support her. And our patterns are also on her website. Our Wllmco patterns that everything is donated to charity are on that website. So this is her pattern, retreat bag, and this is the small size. And what is special about these bags is that they have a wire in the top, and so they sit open. So I use this kind of a bag for yarn. Like these small ones are great for socks, but a lot of people use them for cosmetic bags. They use them just to sort different small projects into. Some people use it in their office desks, just sort of for their emergency supplies. So this was the first one I made, and because we were showing how to do these, I had these 4 bags at 4 different stages. And so then the next 2, the purple and the bluey green, these are both out of the same fabric, but just from where I cut the fabric, they look a bit different. So there were those 2. And then I made a final one just showing how you can line up your material so that it's symmetrical in the pattern. And then inside, I fussy cut pockets so that again the pattern would be highlighted. So those will all be going for Bags, Babies, and Beyond. And then the last project that I made that will be going there is this table runner. So these are machine appliqued circles onto a background using all the wonderful Christmas fabric that we have. So like I said, I love cold weather. There's lots to do when you're at home. Something else I finished, first day of January, I finished my temperature blanket. And it's laying on the bed here. It is so big. I'm going to insert a picture of it. So this temperature blanket is a free pattern available at Michael's. And I used their kind of bulk acrylic yarn that they sell. And every day I crocheted my row And 365 days later, the blanket is done. And I also wove in ends every day. So there was not the weaving in of the ends at the end of the project. Would I do this again? No. It is a big, heavy blanket. But the colder I got with our weather, the more I thought this could be, I'll call it my polar vortex temperature blanket. So it was a great experience. I do love projects where you do one thing a day for a year. And I don't have anything like that this year, but next year I can see where I might find something else that you do one day at a time. You know, it's amazing what happens with one day at a time. All right, and then the last thing for crochet that I did, they're just hard to reach over here. So Judy, look away. I do not want to be implicated as causing you to do any more crochet. For people who were worried about Judy the City Stitcher, she's alive and well and ready to get back to stitching. So we're hoping to see a new video from her soon. So this was just a practice. These are Granny Square crochet Christmas balls. This was my first practice one just to see how it would work. And then I did another one. Will I do more of these? I don't know. I don't know if I will or not. But it was a fun thing to try, for sure. So that was great. All right, so busy. So my reading. Like I said, I found my first two books of the year were 5-star books for me. Very different, but really interesting in their own ways. So the first book is North Woods by Daniel Mason. And all of the end of the year books to read, best book they've read, BookTube things, Northwoods is mentioned. And it is a novel about a house. And it's a house in the woods. And the first people to live in the house was a young pilgrim couple who escaped the colony so that they could live their own lifestyle. And through the chapters, we learn about who inhabits this plot of land across the centuries. And the connection between the people and the land continues year after year. It wasn't what I expected. The ending, it wasn't what I expected. I talked about the young Puritan couple. There's also a man called Charles Osgood, and he was there to develop a new strain of apples. And his Osgood's Wonder Apple was amazing. And from there are twin spinsters who live in the house. There's an artist and a poet and their relationship. It's very much about how things survive, the ups and downs of life and of nature. Nature would often overrun this area, and then there would be blights. It's descriptive, but in a really wonderful and sometimes humorous way I know I'm often when I'm reading a book and it gets into this flowery description, I just kind of skip ahead. But I did not in this book. The nature descriptions are amazing. This is one of the books that is being considered for the Pulitzer Prize, which in some ways would maybe make me shy away. Like, yeah, do I want to read? Sometimes Pulitzer Prize doesn't necessarily, it's a book I'm going to enjoy. But this one was really interesting. The next one is a contemporary novel, and this one was called Firekeeper's Daughter, and it's by Angeline Boulley. If you are going to read this book, do it audio. This is the story of Adonis Fontaine. She's a biracial child. She's an unenrolled tribal member of the Ojibwe. Her father was Ojibwe, her mother was Caucasian, and she was the result of a teenage pregnancy, which was a scandal in the community. Her mother came from a very wealthy white family, but her mother really wanted Donis to know her Ojibwe background, the cultural traditions, and so she was very encouraging that Donis's aunt, who is also Ojibwe, lead her into that understanding. Now, this book is set in the UP, the Upper Peninsula, but like it's right by Canada, like it's Sault Ste. Marie area. And it's a very Canadian book because it's all about hockey. This is a hockey book. Not really. There's hockey in it, and anyone who has lived in Canada, they know the importance of hockey to small communities. Like, it is the lifeblood. Everything centers around the hockey rink and the curling rink. I mean, that is where you go when it's minus 30 below. I mean, that's just what we do. And there's part of that. Donis is a university caliber women's hockey player, and her half brother Levi is one of the stars of the local hockey team. Donis has had some real tragedy in her life. Her father died young. Her grandmother has just had a stroke, and her uncle just died of an overdose, which was a real surprise to the family. And so this book is about finding out why people are dying of overdoses in their tribal area, and how Donis helps to halt the epidemic of opioid and meth in her community. So it's beautiful in that you hear the Ojibwe language. You find out so much about the culture and traditions of the Ojibwe, and you hear the language. Like, that's why you need to listen to this on audio to hear the language. It is just so beautiful. It's also a book about the beauty of community and how this community can come together. So, again, another 5-star book for me. Definitely one I will recommend to lots and lots of people. All right, so that's my books. Those are my books. That's my update. It's always great to do these and get in touch with people. I did miss commenting on everyone's comments this time. I guess I was busy sewing and knitting and crocheting, but I'll try to get to those today when I upload this video as well. So thank you everyone. Donna, be sure to get in touch with me, and everything will be listed in the description box below. Goodbye everyone. Have a good day.